Let's be real. The best time to get your money right was yesterday. The next best time is today. I know, I get it. I've been there. Credit card debt, bills piling up, and not taking those calls. I was making good money, but still living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. Can you relate? But I have good news. You can take action today. It's not too late. Hi, I'm Dignity Coach MarieYolaine, and I am here to empower you to reclaim dignity in your finances. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good day, good evening, all of the things. Welcome to another episode of Money Talks Live. I'm excited to have you be with me today because as we move deeper into this season of alignment and prepare to be different by December, Money Talks Live returns with a powerful conversation today on clarity, courage, and financial dignity. Join me and my special guest today is going to be Connie K, a mompreneur and new business owner, as we discuss what happens when you finally confront your money memory, create a new money story, and create a new path. After completing the 4 keys to master your money without a budget you hate and the Financial Liberation Bootcamp, Connie learned that true transformation is about rewriting your money story. When she received the Shame-Free Spending Flow budget template and documented every expense, she experienced a breakthrough. Budgeting wasn't limiting, it was freeing. With this clarity, Connie now has a blueprint for becoming debt-free and a system that helps her confidently plan for both her responsibilities and the experiences that she wants to design in her life. If you're ready for renewal, empowerment, and a fresh start on your financial journey, let's get into it. So I'm excited to bring her on because there's some things that only the person can talk about, right? That they only know. And for me, this is the best way to do it because I could sit here all day and tell you all sorts of things about why you should take the 4 keys. And you should go right now to focusfire.life/4 keys and register because our next workshop is Saturday, December 13th, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The year is almost over. All that you're doing is getting inundated by all of these commercials to go buy things. And I have a whole different mindset. And that is that you don't need to buy things. You need to create the life that you deserve. You need to purchase the things that are not going to get you in debt just because it's a holiday, just because you feel guilty, just because you feel like if you don't, that people are going to look at you sideways. You don't need to do any of these things. So I'm excited to bring Connie on to talk about her 3 phases that she went through. So let's bring Connie on and let's have a conversation.
Hello.
Hi, Connie.
Hi, MarieYolaine. Thank
How
you
are
for
you?
having me. I'm great. How about you?
I'm so happy that you're here because in all, you are my avatar, right? You are why I do this, that I literally am shouting from the rooftops to professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, mommypreneurs like yourself, and side hustlers who are making the money, but are just like, this is not going exactly the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that's because our personal money habits go into our business. If we don't deal with them in one place, they're going to show up in another place.
Yeah.
So this is what I really wanted to talk to you about. So tell me, where was Connie? Where did you start with your money journey?
Yeah. So, I've been looking at my money journey for like a second, now, and I'm on the spiritual path. So, I've been very introspective But it really came up when I started a business. I started a business August 15th. And I took the 4 Keys workshop and the Financial Liberation Bootcamp right at the end of August. And I started off strong as a new business owner. I can't lie. I was happy. I had clients. I had money in the bank. But as soon as stuff started rolling in, I got very nervous. I had that tightness in the chest because I didn't know it at the time, there was a money story of like, when I have money, I lose it. When I have money, I'm not really sure how to manage it well. And it's gone. It's gone as fast as I got it. So I was nervous about being a new business owner. How am I going to manage my finances? How I'm going to pay myself? I was happy to say that I was profitable in the first month. So that's amazing.
It is.
But I was nervous. I didn't know how I could be, I could keep this up. I can be sustainable. So when I took the 4 Keys workshop, it was probably the first time I was really faced with my money story, because the money story is so ingrained with money trauma. I was unwilling to look at it. And so many times money is also related to your sense of self-worth as well. And I wasn't prepared for this whole spiritual transformation when I started going through these exercises, because I really went back to my childhood. I really went back to the messages that I received growing up. And
what were some of those messages? I think people will want to hear, and they're going to learn that most of us got the same messages. So what did you hear growing up as a child that created your money memories?
We don't got money for that, so it was always this idea of like, maybe one day I'll have money for it, also just in general, like you're not good enough for that, you don't deserve that. And I think that's very common, unfortunately, with people, where they have these messages from childhood and it translates to adulthood. And, as teens, we say, when I got some money, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to get this. And then, when you become an adult, when you get a credit card, you get those things, but you also are faced with so much debt. And then you're realizing, oh my gosh, I got paid and I paid all my bills and I did this and I spent this here. And then now I don't have any money anymore. And that was kind of my money story too. Again, as soon as I had the money, it was gone. So I was really worried about even making money, because why make money? Because it's just going to be gone in a second.
So what was the turning point? When were you like, okay, this is a problem, I got to address this?
So I received the budget in the 4 Keys workshop. And when I got the budget, I was just like a little bit high and mighty. I was like, I already have a budget. I'm working with the budget. I'm good. No, this is a comprehensive, full, complete budget. This is the type of budget where you really outline all of your expenses. And you, especially if you have like a debit card, you can like take a look at your online account. And so since this was at the very end of August, I was able to look at all of August and see all of my spending. When you have it outlined like that, what happens is you start to see patterns. You start to see beyond money. It's the psychology of why you're spending. It's the psychology of, am I spending due to stress? Am I spending through to boredom? Am I spending because I'm used to spending? And then you taught me the 5 ways to spend money.
Oh, yes. Like we often have it backwards, that you make money, you save money, you invest money, you give or donate money, and then you spend money. Spend is last. But when we make money and then we spend money, the other 3 don't happen, because there's no money to invest. There's no money to save. There's certainly no money to give to anything that we're passionate about. So that makes me feel good. You remembered that. Okay, good. I'm going to push that out there, the 5 more often. Thank you. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So you doing that and you were like, what?
Yeah. So, and this is where the money management actually spills over into other areas of your life. So one place where I saw a lot of money going was eating out, just straight up eating out. And it was also this energy thing too. Like I was just so tired at night, I don't want to cook. But you also don't know when you eat out, like what you're putting into your body. It's also not very supportive of a healthy lifestyle. If you're constantly just, getting whatever. And then I started actually eating better because of that. I started going to the grocery store more and getting more groceries. I started cooking. And then I wanted to support the healthy eating. And I was like, if I'm eating right, I should be able to, do exercise too. So it actually started spilling over into other areas of my life where I was like, okay, I'm aware of this habit. When I get stressed, I want something comforting. And so the comfort to me was eating out. But then it turned into, now I'm starting to become a little bit of a gym person. I wasn't really this person before, but now I'm using more healthier ways to deal with stress. And honestly, my spending before, I thought that was prosperity mindset. I thought prosperity mindset equals you can spend what you want. So I thought I was like getting myself into the habit of spending so that I could get into the habit of just like knowing that money's coming to me anyways.
Yep.
Prosperity mindset is not spend frivolously. It's not
Correct.
that.
Correct. You are responsible.
Yes. And when you actually talk to people who have a lot of money, they actually are quite good with their spending. It's not like they wake up and are like, I want to buy this $5,000 thing. Maybe sometimes, but not every day. And I think what happens is that you start to look at every red cent, and that's something that you taught me too. Because like, let's say something was like $58.03, I would be like, that's $58. But no, when you consider the 3 cents, when you consider all the cents, when you consider every red cent, it adds up, and you start realizing, yeah, that's not a prosperity mindset, all that frivolous spending. In fact, if I didn't do all that spending, I would have had an extra $500 this month that could have paid off some debt. I would have had an extra $500 this month to possibly have a down payment for a coaching program or something that I want to do, something that I can invest in that has a long-term result. So that was all from the 4 Keys workshop and the budgeting. And then when I went to the Financial Liberation Bootcamp, I started really looking at the money story. And I think I didn't want to look at it before because it seemed like impossible to change, right?
So would you say that your awareness then, because I'm hearing you say, I didn't want to look at it, I didn't want to address it, but that the first thing it seemed that you got out of the 4 keys was a sense of awareness. You started to ask better questions of yourself of why do I do this? And I heard you say, well, comfort. So I'll spend or I'll buy. And also I make excuses. I'm tired. I don't want to cook. So I'm going to buy food. And on the face of it, all of those things are not criminal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, that doesn't feel bad, but it will have bad consequences. Right. And I also liked what you said about the fact that once you became aware, your intentions changed. You started to ask better questions of yourself. And then that started to overflow into other things. So as you started to get your money right, then it spilled over into your health. And you're questioning, why am I eating this food that is not good for me? And I love that you said gym person. That's hilarious. I feel like I need to get a t-shirt that says gym person. That's what I am. I am a gym person. That then you thought about your health. What am I putting in my body? And now let me go and make it official by going to the gym, right? So these are for me actionable steps. So it is not like the workshop was like lecture, information, thank you for coming. as
No.
opposed to, no, we're going to do some real work in here, and you're going to leave with some real information. And if I'm being honest, once that light is on, you have to make a decision. Did you feel that, like, at the moment that you're like, oh, I can't continue now that I know this about myself?
Yeah, it's now or never, especially as a new business owner. You
Mm.
know, I've made so many financial mistakes in the past, and I want to do things different this time. And I didn't want to continue in those same habits and those same patterns. Um, and you know what? This is so long term too. When I started really looking at my money story and realizing that I could rewrite it, um, I looked at everything in my lineage. It went beyond like what I learned in childhood. It was like I looked at my bloodline and I saw a money story of my bloodline.
What did you learn? What did you see?
I saw a money story of poverty. And I saw a money story of work hard, and break your back doing it, and you still are end up with nothing at the end of your life.
Mm,
What a terrible story.
yeah.
Um, and but my family does have resilience. My family does have entrepreneurship. My family does have that work hard ethic. So I love that, and I accept all the positive things. But I knew there was something with me that needed to rewrite that money story, not only for myself, but for my bloodline and for my daughter too. And I looked at my daughter, and I'm happy to say, like, I have all these savings accounts set up for her ever since she was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time that she's 21, she should have a pretty penny to start off with life. She was also having a college fund, so she'll be double set up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited about that. But I looked at her one day and I'm like, this isn't just about you. This is about your grandkids. This is generational wealth. This goes beyond me. This is generations beyond me. So not only am I rewriting the poverty money story of my family, but I'm rewriting it for generations to come. And
So,
that's what came out of this whole experience in the past 3 months.
ooh, this makes me so excited. So we heard what you just said about when you look back on your lineage and generations, and you said it was a story of poverty.
Yeah.
What words would you use to describe your money? What is your money story today?
My money story is improving. So, I don't want to say that I went from like overnight. I had this money story of poverty consciousness, and today I am rolling in the dough and everything's perfect. But, as someone who works with a lot of leadership coaches, we look at the actionable little steps that you take every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now what I say today, I say I used to be bad with money. Now I'm saying I'm getting better with money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even today I could say I'm a pretty good manager of my money, and I am becoming an expert of my money. And, back to the childhood messages that we get, one of those messages was, we don't got money for that, right? So I thought as a new business owner, it was like, yeah, it's going to be at least 6 months until I can do some heftier investments like leadership conferences or professional development. And I did not have to wait 6 months. In fact, in the past 3 months of being a new business owner, I've attended 3 conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that was because I budgeted for it. Maybe it might have taken some like more than a month to budget up for it, but it wasn't this idea of like, I don't got money for that. No, I'm going to budget for it. You and I were talking about like going to possibly on a business retreat for professional women next year in Thailand. How amazing would that be?
Yep.
And it's totally possible to budget for that starting now.
Correct.
And you can have what you want. Just put it in your budget. Just budget for it. And it will become it will become yours. So
That
much.
sounds like accountability to yourself, making
Yeah.
promises to yourself that you don't break. And again, setting a pattern for your daughter, who is your why for all of this because you already lived the life. So you know, if you did nothing, you knew exactly how her life was going to be because it was going to be exactly how yours was. So making the decisions and the changes intentionally, especially changing your mindset about money. I love that you're using the word wealth and generational and grandchildren, right? Now in your life, that you've already set her up to be wealthy. She's already set up and she's watching you and how you're handling your life because they're sponges. If I've learned anything from children, it's that they may not talk a lot, but they are sponges and parrots. They just absorb everything and then they say it right back to you because they're listening,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
what you are showing her, you have normalized this life for her. So it's not a special occasion of how she's going to be feeling about money. She will not have to go back and do all of the work that you did. She'll have to do her own stuff, but she's not going to have to do a lot of the work that you did. And do you think that's healing for you? Has that been healing for you?
100%.
Mm.
I think at the end of August, I was talking to you, and I was like, if I just apply these principles every day, I think I would be different by December. And and that's when we started this whole like marketing campaign, different by December. That you just don't have to wait. Like you don't have to wait tomorrow. You don't have to wait until New Year's resolutions.
Nope.
You can do this today. You can make some decisions today. You can get your budget out today and start looking at your expenses and putting every single expense on that budget. And when I say every single expense, I mean every single expense. I don't care if you're being charged a recurring expense of $3 a month. You put that on your budget, because you have to see everything going in and out. And I think people sometimes get nervous about this too because they feel like budgets are very restricting. But I actually felt so much freedom when I started putting stuff in my budget. I have a line item for health and wellness. I have a line item for beauty. I have a line item for my household products. I have a line item for Luna, my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel so great when I go to the store and I know exactly how much I can spend on myself or on others because I budgeted for it.
And remember when you said earlier, you mentioned how you were treated in the messages you got. You said you didn't deserve, that you weren't worthy of that, which when we can become adults, we actually end up stealing from ourselves. So then we're like, I deserve this coat. I need to get this coat out of anger. And then we feel like we got to work to deserve the coat. No, you're deserving when you were born, period. There's no work for you to do. The only work for you to do is to be a student of life and to understand what are you, why are you here? What is your purpose? What you're supposed to do? There's the fighting with yourself is not a requirement. So you budgeting to say, I'm going to do these nice things for myself. And some of it is just regular stuff like toiletries. Like you don't need, it doesn't need to be a special occasion, that
Yeah.
this is what I need for myself every month in order for me to be happy with myself, in order for me to be a good mom, in order for me to be a good business owner, in order for me to be good for my clients. I need those things. And I'm not going to feel guilty or bad about them. And I'm not going to steal from myself in order to get them. So
Yeah.
I think that is wonderful. So let's talk about, because like I said, I feel like now what you talked about in August, by September, you now have clarity, the healing is happening for you, and a fresh perspective of how you're going to move forward. You've used your budget to lower debt. Talk to me about what you got out of the budget after you really engage in your shame-free spending flow. And I love the fact that you're saying these things because it sounds like you are shame-free in your spending. Hallelujah to that. Talk to me about your credit score. What did you do and what are the changes you saw in there?
So I got some really great strategies for getting the credit score down. And again, it was a mindset thing because I've had this like really love-hate relationship with my credit score, especially after just some unfortunate things hit my credit. And it wasn't even my fault sometimes. I think like this happens when you enter into the wrong relationship or you co-sign on a loan or anything, which by the way, don't do that ever.
I'm going to back her up
Yeah.
500 million times. I'm going to get all into this screen. It doesn't matter if it's your husband, your wife, your kid, your neighbor, your cousin, your brother. It does not matter. And let me tell you why it doesn't matter. So I'm not just scaring you straight. When you go into the car dealership, or you go into the real estate office, or wherever it is that you're co-signing, for example, your brother wants to buy a car, it's $40,000 and he needs a co-signer. When you go in there and you sign, you're saying, should he not pay for it, I have $40,000 sitting in my account that I can just go ahead and take care of this. If you are going to co-sign, you need to know the math. And that is the math that you are saying, should this go south? They don't care about anything else. You're signing on the go south. And you are saying, should this go south, bank, car dealership, loan officer, whoever, I have 40, 50, 60, 70, $100,000 sitting in my account right now that should this go south, I am fully prepared to give you all the $35,000 that's left on this car. If you do not have that, do not sign. That's number one. Number two, most co-sign decisions are made with our hearts and not our head. I said most, in truth, it's all. But we want to help somebody. Yeah. We love them. They are a kid. We want to get them started off right, or we feel sorry for. These are horrible reasons to engage in a financial commitment, because what you're not doing is looking at this person. You're not saying, is Sally responsible? When she's been my sister, or she's been my friend or my colleague, have I seen her exhibit responsible behavior? And the reason you're co-signing is because the person doesn't have the money. That's why you're there. You are the money.
Yeah, that's so true.
Money. That's the only reason you're sitting there. So if you don't have the money, number one. Number two, you're using your heart to make the decision. And number three, this person has not shown or does not have a history of being financially responsible. Those are the three strikes. You are out.
Yeah.
You are out. And you are going to end up not just with the problem of having this impact your credit score, because it will.
Yeah, it will.
But oftentimes you won't even know it. And I'm putting myself out there a little bit, but I'm free, so it's fine. I did not know that the co-signing had hurt me until I went to go get a condo. And as I'm sitting there, they pull up my stuff and they pull up my report. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. And the person was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, this thing is still on my credit report." And what I felt in that moment was that this stranger knew more about my financial life than I did. I wasn't even ready to answer. It's not like he asked. I was like, "Oh, yes, here's the explanation." I had nothing. And he looked at me like, all he did was put my social security number, and my whole life was before him. And this person had the power to say yes to this condo or no, when in fact, had I had a budget, that debt would have been on there. That car note would have been on there. And I would have known that. I signed and I walked away.
Yeah.
So out of sight was out of mind. So again, if you don't have the 40 grand in the bank, if you know that you're making this decision with your heart and not your head, and the person you are pretending like they are not responsible, that you know that they are not responsible with their finances now, run, do not walk to the nearest exit. That's my PSA for today.
Yeah, and that can be very traumatic when you do something like co-sign a loan. And even if they are responsible, something can happen in their lives where they're unable to work anymore, or
Correct.
Something happens, like life happens. And so I think that's another reason why I didn't want to look at my money story, because it's just so traumatic of those events, those unfortunate events that happen that affect your credit score and affect your finances. So, and my mindset was just like, well, it's kind of shot. So, I'll try to work on it. But really what happened is that you gave me strategy, and the strategy was just pay your credit card, like even 20 days, 30 days before it's due. In fact, as soon as you put it on the card, just pay it. And as soon as I started doing that, I started seeing increases almost weekly. I think one of my scores went up 50 points. So, and another one of them went into a whole new bracket. So it keeps going up. Every time I actually put money on my card, I get a little bit like antsy, like when do I have a chance to submit a payment on that? Because I want to keep seeing it go up. But definitely, and I've seen also increases on my current credit cards, and I've seen more credit card offers come through. So it's definitely working, even with such a hard hit on my credit report. In those unfortunate circumstances, you can still fix your credit.
Absolutely.
Despite your credit history.
100%. It is about understanding that this is not miracles or magic. It's work.
Yeah.
And it's being consistent, which you clearly have been. You're paying your bills on time and you're paying them consistently. That's literally all they care about.
Yep.
And you said on one of the reports, your credit score increased 50 points. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, ever since September.
Yep. So between September, October, we're in November now. So less than 3 months, your credit score increased 50 points. And remember what I told you, you always know when it's changed on their side because you start getting the offers in the mail.
Yep. Yeah,
right?
I keep getting offers in the mail. You're pre-approved for an auto loan. You're pre-approved for this and that. And honestly, like I said, I just kind of, resolved to just say, I just don't have a great credit score. I'm going to pay everything with cash. Like so sad that happened, but we're here now. But the mindset shift happened, and then I realized like I'm rewriting everything, even my credit score. And you can too. It's actually pretty simple.
I was just about to ask you, what do you want to say to the people who are watching this, who are like, I've tried this before, or it's never going to change for me. Like, what would you say to that professional right now who's making 6 figures, but not sure where their money is going, which you said earlier, like, I get it, and then it just evaporates somewhere, or the business owner, or the entrepreneur, mompreneur, or the person who's doing their side hustle while they're working their full-time job and wants that side hustle to become like their full-time business. And they know that money is the issue and their mindset is also the problem. What would you tell them would be the reason that they should sign up, register for the 4 Keys to Master Your Money?
Your money story affects everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, 6-figure professional, someone who is starting out and, whatever. It affects everyone. So I remember when I did the Financial Liberation Bootcamp, and I talked about outlaying all my expenses. And my in-laws were actually doing the same thing. They were doing a similar program with their financial advisor, and they're 6-figure professionals too. And when we compared notes, we had the same notes. Now, I'm not 6 figures yet, but what I did was I put the 6-figure number out there and I reverse engineered it. So now I have a plan to how to achieve 6 figures. But when I spoke to them, it was this this message of like, yeah, our accountant tells us that we make 6 figures, but we're not really sure where that money is. And it was the same thing. Like we both had the same outcome from budgeting and looking at your expenses. It was so eye-opening. We both said the same thing, eye-opening, that we really spend this much on this one thing every month. And that's ridiculous. And we can adjust our habits to change that. But it really comes after you look at your money story and you look at your budget, which you really get an awesome money story exercise in the 4 Keys workshop. and along with the budget. And honestly, you know, I'm an administrative professional. I've worked with a lot of spreadsheets. I already had a budget, not like this budget. It was very comprehensive. And there's multiple tabs too. There's also a tab on how to get debt free too, like an actual plan to become debt free. So overall, do the budget. It's eye opening. It's okay. It's a lot. It's
So
gonna
you
be
didn't
a lot.
die. You're still alive. That's
Yeah, but you know, honestly, and I'm in your Focus Fire community too, and it's so nice to hear from other people who are also on a very similar journey of, hey, you know, guys, like I didn't really do my budget this week, but I'm catching up. I'm going to do it today, you know, or hey, I haven't really been on top of my credit card bills statements, but I'm doing it today. Or the opposite. Hey, I've been doing those payments and I've been seeing that increase every month, and it's been amazing for me. So that accountability, but also that I want to say that transparency too, that everyone deals with this. I don't care how much money you're making. I think everyone has some type of like money issue in their life that they're working through, but it just looks different at all different levels of income.
Yep. Yep. It's an equalizer for sure. Because if it was just being rich, was it just making $1 million, then people who are rich would be super happy and have no problems.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not the case, right? If I can quote the prophet Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems, right?
Yeah.
So that's usually what people who are financially illiterate go through, because they think more money will solve these problems. It will not. It is changing your mindset will solve these problems, because you're going to have the same mindset with $1 million. So if you were not able to be 100-aire and 1,000-aire, you're not going to be able to be a millionaire, because it's the same actions that you take.
Yeah.
If you can budget $100, you can budget 1,000, you can budget 100,000, you can budget $1 million. It's the same movement. If you can give $10, it's the same exercise, the same movement on my arm that I make to write. I know folk ain't writing checks these days, but same thing. On your phone, whatever. It's the same motion. Oop, I just donated $100. It's the same motion. But if you do not use the muscle at all, do not think that once you get $1 million, all of a sudden you're going to just be like, oh, I'm going to use this muscle. No, your arm's going to be like, what? I don't. You could have frozen shoulder. That's for a whole other episode. But you don't want to be frozen in your finances. You also don't want to tell yourself the lie of, if I had $1 million, if I'd had this, I would do better. I'm here to tell you, you will not. You're going to do better when you think better.
Yeah.
That's what needs to be better, your thought life. And that is one of the things we cover too. So, Connie, I can't thank you enough, because you have literally put it all out there. And I hope that folks really heard what you said and take it to heart. And you'll come back, because I feel like it might be quarterly that you just update on where you are now and where you were, because I think it will be inspiring. And thank you for being a part of the Focus Fire community. I agree with you. We grow in community, not in isolation. And so it's good that you're around people who can hold you accountable, check in on you, check up on you, and make sure that you are, that the dream that you have people to support you to help the dream to come true. And I feel honored that I'm one of the people walking alongside you and also cheering for you from the sidelines with my pom-poms, because I do believe that you are going to be an impactful, not just mom and business owner, but just a human being. So thank you. Thank you for being on the Fireside Chat today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And if I could say one more thing, talking about the dreams coming true. I mean, this was kind of like a long-term goal. I want to say like 12 months. But one of the goals, I had two goals actually. I wanted to live and work by the sea. And by using my budget, I actually have a budget for my personal and a budget for my business. I am now speaking to you from my seaside office. I can literally see the ocean from where I'm sitting. And this is like, and to achieve this in 3 months, when I thought like, oh, this is a 12-month goal, it's life-changing. So now it's just manifesting the condo by the sea. But I know the mindset, the daily work, and the budgeting will get me there. So thanks again. And it's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Until next time.
Until next time. That's what I'm going to say. Awesome. Woo, that was exciting, y'all. I'm, what's the song? I'm overwhelmed. Right. I stand in awe. There's a whole song in there. I know the power of being delivered from financial bondage, and the place that it lives, that it starts, that it manifests, that it has the stronghold is here, is in our mind. And again, it starts when we were kids, and we're getting fed all of this mindset, and we don't know how to defend ourselves. And then it just manifests when we are teenagers, when we are young adults, when we are adults, when we are middle-aged, when we are seniors, until we deal with it. And that is what we do in the 4 keys to master your money without a budget you hate. So I encourage you to head over to focusedfire.life/4 keys, the number 4 keys. Should be right there. Thank you. It's right there in the banner. And register for our next workshop. And it's the last workshop of the year. So how about you end this year differently and be different by December? How about we do that? And that 2026, you don't roll in going, I don't know what the year is going to be. I don't know what's going to happen with my money, with my health, with my life. But that you lay your head down on December 31st, knowing that you have prepared for yourself and you have created momentum to enter 2026 with fire. That's what we're going to be doing. So follow me on all the socials. On Facebook, it's @FocusFire, and on Instagram, it's @FocusFireLife. And that's how you're going to keep up with all of the wonderful things that are going on. And Different by December is happening December 6th. So we'll be putting more information out there. It is completely free, but the investment is of your time, which is completely priceless. So join us and be different. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you to my wonderful guest, Connie, who blew it up for y'all. So y'all should literally now be empowered to succeed. And I'll see you next time on Money Talks.